If your bike's rumbling, juddering, making weird noises, or just generally not performing like it usually does, that's a sure sign that there's something wrong. Here's how to diagnose some of the most common bike illnesses. A rumbling when you're pedaling, or it's quite noisy when you're pedaling, first of all, check you've threaded your chain through the derailleur correctly, especially if you've changed it recently. Sometimes you can get the chain the wrong side of the little bridge and it will just rub against it. So if you pedal backwards, you can check to see if that noise is coming from the derailleur and check that everything's okay. If that is fine, then you might want to check your bottom bracket next. If you hold on to the frame and pedal, preferably in a stand, if you feel a vibration through the frame, it's probably a sure sign that your bottom bracket is wearing out. As the grease wears out and water gets into your bottom bracket, those bearings will start to grind and you'll feel that vibration through the frame. If your wheels wobble and maybe they make a clunking noise when you drop them on the floor, then it's a sure sign that your axle's probably not done up tight enough. What you want to do is tighten it up so it leaves a small imprint on your hand. If your axles are done up tightly but your wheel is still wobbling, it could be your hub, especially if you see the cassette moving in the back, then the hub might need tightening up or it might just need a service. If you're not comfortable consulting your manual for your wheels, then take it to a bike shop and let them have a look. If your wheels are done up tight and there's nothing wrong with your hubs, there's no wobble, but your wheel is moving from side to side when you're pedaling, it's probably the tension has gone in your spokes. Maybe you've had a bit of a knock and your wheel's slightly out of line. If you're not comfortable tightening up your spokes, then again, go and see a local bike shop to tighten it up for you. If you feel a judder when you're braking, there could be two problems here. The first, you need to check your caliper. Check that it's tightened up and it's not wobbling. Also check that your rotors are in line between your pads. If they are wonky and they're coming on wonky, it could create a judder when you start to brake. The second thing you want to check is your headset. Sometimes when you brake, you'll feel a judder where the headset is loose. To check this, you want to turn your handlebars, apply the brakes and rock the bike forward and backwards to see if there's any movement between the headset cup and the frame. A little bonus diagnosis here. If you pick up your bike and turn your handlebars from left to right, if you feel a grinding or rumbling or a bit of vibration or even some resistance, then that's a problem with your headset too, even if it's done up tightly. You might need to grease the bearings at the very least, but you also might need a headset soon enough. If you hear a constant grinding or squealing, it could just be that your chain is really dry. Lubricant will wear off during a ride, especially if it's wet and muddy. It might even cause your gears to start underperforming. If your gears are making a horrible flicking noise like this, then it's probably that your inner gear cable has stretched a little bit, so it's not moving the derailleur into the right gear. This is an easy fix. All you need to do to add tension to the inner cable is to move the outer cable away from the gear barrel. We get this barrel adjuster here if you rotate it away from yourself, so anti-clockwise when you look at it, or lefty-loosey as I like to think, then it'll bring the cable out and put some tension on the inner cable. Try and do this while you're pedaling, as the noise should stop as soon as it is back into the right tension. If your brake levers are getting really close to your grips, there's two reasons this could be happening. One could be that your pads are wearing out. As they start to get thinner, the pistons start to get closer to the disc, and that means the lever will start getting closer to the grips. So take them out, have a look at them. There should be more than a couple of mils on that pad. If your brake pads are fine, but your levers are still going back to the grips, that could be something wrong with your brake fluid. You could have some air in there. It could be just old fluid. Maybe it's got a little bit contaminated. This means you're going to need to bleed your brakes. So if you're not comfortable doing that, then go and take it to your local bike shop and get them serviced. Well, hopefully you've figured out what's wrong with your bike, or at least you know what to look for in future. If we've missed anything though, and you've worked out how to diagnose an illness on your bike, let us know in the comments below and help out the future GMBN Tech community.